Game 3, Naama is up 2-0. And if you would like him to close this one out as the final game, give a cheer for Naama.
And if you want to see more StarCraft 2 action in here for the next half an hour to an hour, please make some noise for Naama.
I get the sense that the crowd likes StarCraft.
I think so. I love StarCraft. Do you look StarCraft?
I think it is pretty good.
It is such a good game, isn't it, Day 9?
Pretty basically. Either way, we have Mouse Sports and Naama spawning in the bottom left as the red Terran. In the top right, we have MaNa as the blue Protoss. MaNa, the Cinderella story of this tournament, coming to the BYOC qualifier, having no expectations. And here he is in the final, but he has an uphill battle ahead of him. He is down 0-2.
And a lot of players go into this situation looking at themselves, knowing that they are down 0-2, but they have to keep cool in this situation. That's what makes a fantastic player. We've seen so many series in different tournaments where players come from behind to take the final win, and that is how a champion should play. So if MaNa wants to be the DreamHack champion, that is what he needs to do.
MaNa's chilling at 400 actions per minute. I would say that the adrenaline in his body is functioning properly. He does not want to have any expended, or he wants to expend all that energy so that way he can play to his fullest. Sometimes players, if they try to play a little slowly, that adrenaline can make those hands shake. So MaNa just making use of the energy his body's given him.
And Naama, look at the position of the barracks down here. It has got a little cute little small space here for the Tech Lab to go down. Interesting to see if he goes for a Marine first or straight for the Tech Lab. We've seen both varieties come from him throughout this tournament. The probe is going to come in and see exactly what I just said, and the SCV is going up towards the north also.
And it looks like a little bit of probe harass will begin zapping at that SCV. It's at 35 life, 25, 20. It looks like he will be pulling that probe back, but still, any damage you can deal, maybe if you can even pick off an SCV, that's always a really great way to start a match.
And he is going to chase it down. I'm not sure if he will be able to get the kill. He's got to be careful of not getting surrounded. And here he is. He's just playing around on the mineral field, and here goes the SCV. He's going to attack it, tase it a little bit, slap it with its metal sticks. And up in the base, we do see the cybernetics core going down. Perfect timing, and the SCV sees this.
And it looks like the probe will end up getting picked off by Naama. MaNa would have liked to loop around this back door to try to see if the Tech Lab was going down or if it was going to be a factory, but he will not get that knowledge. He has his second assimilator getting thrown down. Looks like it's going to be another one-base play from MaNa.
Yeah, and the SCV sees this. He knows exactly what's going on. Are we going to see a Reaper come through the racks? Yes, we are. A Reaper is going to be waypointed into the base of MaNa, and he's going to see a lot of information with this. And at the same time, a second refinery has gone down before the factory, and out comes the SCV to put that factory down. And
it does look like Naama has managed to escape and retreat, sending that first Marine to the Xel'Naga watchtower to check out what is up. Probe has to back off now, and meanwhile, it looks like no second gate, no robo yet. MaNa still has options in front of him.
And here we go, the robotics facility has gone down after the first gateway, which is quite early actually. And what's next from them? It is going to be a Marine coming from the barracks next, and the Reaper is on its way out, and it is going to be moving down the right-hand side of this map and try to get in now. But there is a pylon with great placement, and the sentry is in place too.
And it looks like this Reaper is swinging up to the right side. This probe from MaNa is sneaking down to see if there's any expansion up. No, nothing at all. And very good foresight there by MaNa, being able to put that sentry there, and he will be able to repel this Reaper, and still no information gained by Naama.
No, he actually doesn't know anything that's going on. There could be 5 Stargates for all he knows in there, but he has no idea what's going on. And look at this right now. Marines are moving out to control the Xel'Naga towers, and that is key. The thing is, there's this probe hanging around at the bottom that can go into the base at any time right now, and he could see everything.
And it looks like we have one Hellion coming out, and will he be researching the Blue Flame upgrade? No, it looks like no Infernal Pre-Igniter is going down. And it looks like, wow, Naama having excellent scouting, checking all the corners of his base.
I think that was actually, he cancelled the Hellion to put down the starport, and now he is going to rebuild the Hellion. And Banshee is coming out. Will he be getting Cloak though? Trademark from Naama throughout the entire tournament. It doesn't look like he is going to go for Cloak though.
And it looks like this Reaper is all the way in the bottom right corner of the map, just making sure that nothing bad's happening here. He will begin participating in the match, heading back to the center. That first observer is out from MaNa and sending it straight to his opponent's base and getting a defensive second observer.
And this is actually really smart, getting the Banshee out, but not going for Cloak this game. I'm not sure if he'll get a second one, though. That would be pretty... we need to see if he'll do that. He is going to go and send this Banshee out. It looks like the observer will cross path with this Banshee, though.
And now one thing to note, it looks like Naama is doing almost the exact same style as last game. Banshee harass into big Marines and tanks, but the problem is, with these huge distances, MaNa can easily sit with this Nexus. It is not like on Scrap Station where he is cramped for time and space. He has the entire map to freely move around.
And a Raven in production now with siege tanks, and it looks like we might be seeing some aggression play from him. The Nexus has almost been done. The Banshee is on its way up, but there are 4 Stalkers sitting there waiting for it to come in. An observer is in place, and he's getting the 3rd observer, actually, being very, very sure not to lose to any Cloak Banshees, but little does he know that Cloak isn't even being researched.
Either way, once he realizes that they are not, he can easily swing in, and oh, it looks like MaNa, oh no, lets the Banshee sneak into the back. This is where you do not want that Banshee to be, because that means all game long you are worried about it, and we see the observer already heading there to hang out.
And a Hellion is coming up to the Nexus on the natural. A couple of Stalkers are there, and he does retreat, sees that there are no probes down there yet, but he knows they will be coming soon, and at the same time, MaNa decides to push out, and he is going to put his orbital command down. He's chasing down this observer. Will he get it? The Marines like almost fall off the cliff as they try to get that observer down.
Wow, Naama even throwing down the auto turret to pick it off. I don't know how much I agree with that, as the energy is so important. You want to make sure you have enough for that point defense drone, and look at this, a very fast Robo Bay coming out for MaNa.
Yeah, it is coming down, and we are going to see Colossus come out, and that's actually quite a nice transition here. That he's getting another observer, having lost that one in the base. He wants to go down to see what is going on. Medivacs are coming out now, and this is looking pretty good for both players. Nothing really happened so far, just playing with each other. Quite a tense atmosphere in here.
And we do see that MaNa is doing a great job of trying to pick off this Banshee. Will he be able to get it? It's at 40 health, and again, it's found a nice little hiding spot.
It's like chilling there, just, uh-oh, he's got to be careful though. No, he can't get reached at all. They're just teasing the Stalkers like, all right, you can see me, but you can't touch me.
Just wanted to let him know that you are not allowed to harass anymore in this game. There's the Colossus coming out right now. Ordinarily, Colossus, too fast, can be very vulnerable to early pressure, but as we've seen, Stim is just finished, and there are virtually no units yet for Naama. Right now, Naama is just building up and biding his time.
Ooh, a little bit of a supply block here by Naama. He did have a scan, and then saw the robotics bay and the Colossus coming out there, immediately builds 2 Vikings, but unfortunately for him, he did get supply blocked at 78, stuck here now, so it's going to be a while before these Vikings come out, and that could change everything, because he really does need a lot of Vikings. He's got to be careful with this observer, is going to go down, walks into a Raven down the bottom. At the same time, the Banshee manages to stay alive in the top right.
And it looks like little tiny force moving around for Naama, wants to make sure that he can still maintain vision in the center of the map, and it looks like MaNa sending some sacrificial probes to this Marine, or might even try to double team it. Go probes, I'm rooting for you.
I don't know, will he be able to do it? He's like going, he's like, no, you've got a gun, that's like so not fair.
And it will end up staying and running away. Oh my goodness, this is exactly what Naama wanted. Free probe kills and a free Stalker. Very nice timing.
And all these infantry will be healed up with this medevac. Got a lot of energy, 80 energy on that. All this infantry will go back and healed up. We haven't seen an engineering bay being put down. It's quite surprising. His upgrades are so important, though we are seeing the combat shield being researched. Going to be key, especially with this Colossus being out.
We see more barracks going down by Naama. Even though he was able to pick off those free units, he still is a little bit behind on the general unit count. We do see the food is higher for Naama, but again, he needs more Marines and Marauders before he can push. There's another observer getting taken down, and we do see that the Twilight Council is being constructed and the Colossus range is done.
It wouldn't surprise me if we did see High Templar come out once again. This is what MaNa's been doing throughout the entire tournament. Coming down here, try to take care of the destructible rocks, though he wants to take control of the Zelnogtai's. Got to be careful though, because it looks like this push is coming up with four SCVs as well.
And it looks like Naama might end up in this confrontation. He's trying to back up. The destructible rocks are down, and the Stalkers advance forward. At this point in time, Naama has to be very careful, because MaNa does have the range upgrade. He can pick off infantry from afar.
And he has 4 Vikings. Do we have any more in production? We have 2 more in production. There will be 6 eventually up here he's got to be careful. It looks like MaNa is not scared at all. He's moving very close to this spot, but he's pulling up siege tanks ever so slowly. Got to be careful with those Vikings, though.
Uh-oh, looks like he is just going for it. He cuts off the huge amount of infantry, snipes them with ease, but one Colossus is falling down. MaNa ends up in the retreat, and that was a pretty good exchange for MaNa.
Siege tanks doing a lot of damage in the back. This the Raven has enough for a point defense drone now the next time they do engage, and that's going to nullify a lot of these Stalkers. And it looks like he will be going down. Will he place another point defense drone? No, as Naama decides to pull back.
And this is going to be a very, very tough decision for MaNa. When does he end up trying to crunch in to this attack force, if ever? In the meantime, there's no command centers anywhere for Naama. He's really trying to win with this one push. And here again is Naama's meticulous, slow siege tank pushing.
And it is so dangerous. This is such a successful push every time. He's taken down these rocks also. And he's got to be careful, though, where the SCVs. He's not building any more. Oh, he's got to go. He tries to stim. Doesn't do too much damage. Vikings coming in. Also have to be careful. Very fragile movement by both players.
Yes, has to be absolutely meticulous with that placement of those Vikings. He needs to try to snipe the Colossus, but can't be too careful, really. And it looks like MaNa is just slowly pulling farther and farther back. More Marauders from Naama trying to bait these units. And look, he ends up baiting the Colossus and takes a little bit of damage.
Marauders are quite low in health, though. He's consistently using stims down to yellow and orange health. And these tanks are once again leapfrogging closer and closer to this Nexus. And do we see more reinforcements coming up? And like we saw in the first game and the second game, this is happening to MaNa, and he really has to try and be careful with these units.
And the Zealot with leg speed just finished. He's going to dart in, and the Vikings are clustering. One Colossus falls. There's the force field. The Zealots are trying to sprint in. He's using the Stalkers to pick off all the Vikings, and he has to pull out into another retreat, but most of the Vikings have fallen.
And a lot of SCVs are here now. The 4 SCVs are here to help repair the siege tanks to make sure this containment stays very strong. But MaNa is in a lot of trouble. He's trying to get Psionic Storm out so that he can help deal against this, but he's in a lot of trouble, especially with this point defense drone being down. He almost has enough energy for another one, but 2 bunkers are being placed down here. And once again, we are going to see these siege tanks try to move up closer and closer to this Nexus.
Both players playing at the exact same speed, 204 actions per minute. The adrenaline is pumping. It looks like another Colossus is about halfway done. And if those bunkers finish, that could be a terrible situation. So we will go ahead and just kill the bunker.
Yeah, and there's only 2 Vikings left now, but then again, there are only 2 Colossus left. The Colossus amount has been cut down a lot by all these Vikings. The thing is, with the siege tanks as well, they are doing damage to the Colossus just like the Vikings are, so it's very hard to make these work. And he's got a couple units, needs to drop them from the Medivac, but very, very careful placement by Terran.
Another Colossus coming out. MaNa having tremendous patience. There are so many siege tanks on the map, and look at all the turrets getting thrown down. Naama even getting a sensor tower that will spawn and give him complete vision of where the army position is. And again, Naama trying to bait units out. What a tense position.
And I like the thing that Naama is actually putting the point defense drones down, trying to bait the units to come to him. And if he does try to break it, this point defense drone will soak up so much damage. Vikings getting 3 hits as well. Very, very careful play, and he's got to be careful not to stick too much. He is going to come down and do a lot of damage to these probes, though.
And it looks like these Marauders are doing a good amount of damage. They might be able to pick off this assimilator. We do see the Psionic Storm is done for MaNa, just waiting for that K'Daran amulet to get a little bit of extra energy. And there the Nexus is under fire, but MaNa still has not chosen to engage.
And we have 4 High Templars out now, 2 more in production, 6 altogether. They don't quite have enough energy, all of them, but he's going to wait till they do, and that's when he'll try to move out.
And a big storm goes off.
Doing a lot of damage with that storm. He's going to wait for more energy, then he will be wanting to push out. This may be the time.
He is now advancing forward. He needs to get some good storms off. There's the stim pulling back, feedback, picking off those key units. The Colossus doing so much damage from afar, but he doesn't have enough energy for storms, taking out almost everything. And again, another stalemate exchange. Naama gets pushed back, but MaNa still doesn't have another option for an expo.
There were just so many layers of Terran units pushing more forward, and oh no, he could be in a lot of trouble if these Terran. He's pushing forward, and once again, Stim, he's got to be careful for those storms. Will he be able to break through this day 9?
The Colossus is falling, and there's some great storms MaNa is slowly inching his way forward. He needs to pick these Vikings off, and he does get a good amount of them. More Zealots being warped in, but that one gas geyser, because it has fallen, means that there is not enough High Templar. Mined out main for MaNa, almost mined out for Naama. Naama doesn't have any other command centers anywhere. He is devoting everything to tanks. Naama desperately needs to win with this push.
And he needs to break out. He needs another expansion. And I don't know, he's waiting for more units to come into the composition. More Zealots are coming, but this force, the way it's spread out, there are bunkers everywhere, there are tanks everywhere, turrets, more bunkers being put down. It's going to be so hard, and here he comes again.
And there's the sprint forward. He stims to get behind the tanks. Will MaNa be able to break out? He has so many Templar, but he needs to get into a good position. There's the storm. All the units are reclustering. The Colossus falls. A great storm. It's exactly what he needed.
Brilliant storm, doing so much damage. And oh no, Naama knows that he's in trouble. He's going to have to salvage the bunkers and move down. And he finally breaks out of this Terran containment. It's taken him so long. It's taken him 2 games and about 20 minutes in this one.
And it looks like MaNa realizes that the front is free. He is heading out. Now he can take advantage of the space. And for the first time this game, MaNa has busted out of his contain.
We look at the food count now. It is equal 120 to 120. I'm not sure if he should try and engage. He should try and take the Gold Expo as soon as possible. Both players look like they want to do that and set up another position here in the main. But I don't think going in will be the wise decision. There are a lot of tanks and a lot of Vikings. Got to be careful, losing a few Stalkers there.
And there is the expansion command center just now starting for MaNa. Needs a pylon at the front so he can continue to warp in units. Naama is making almost exclusively tanks, has 3 factories churning those out. But look at this, mined out his main, sending the orbital command in. Extremely tense spot. And right now MaNa is gearing up to maybe move along the right side. He knows most of the tanks are left heavy.
Or if he could go down on the left-hand side, that would be great for him. He's got to be careful though, because there are a lot of tanks, and if he does decide to move them, he could have been in a lot of trouble. Does the sensor tower actually see too much though? He doesn't see anything on the Xel'Naga tower actually, so he's got to be careful. He's going to move down. The gold is coming up, and the gold is being placed down by Naama. Basically, 1 base each now.
Yeah, and this is a lot of tanks for Naama and not that many infantry, and it looks like Naama is unsieging. He's going to slowly push along this center cup, and now that this Nexus is not even finished, MaNa is beginning to send probes, and Naama is going to try to exploit this narrow range, but he's going to have to get into a little bit of a wide angle to begin shooting at that Nexus.
And if he moves up actually, Day 9, he could get great position on this gold because all the Protoss units are on this right-hand side by the Xel'Naga tower. I mean, he could get a great, and here we go. Could he snipe it?
Oh no, there's no units there. He's going to end up losing the Nexus. Big blunder by MaNa.
That is so big. I can't stress how big that is. He has to spend another 400 on it. But wow, this is such a crazy game. It's so close and so gentle.
And it looks like now MaNa has managed to get an observer there. He sees what's up. MaNa has tremendous patience. I've never seen a more patient player. He is just biding his time. It doesn't matter to him that he lost that Nexus. He's not going to make any mistake. He's not going to overreact. This game has just been inches apart, and it looks like MaNa's going for a little bit of storm harass.
There are oh, that is really good. If he comes down here, we'll be able to, the observer is in position. How many SCVs will he be able to get, though?
And it looks like, and he's there now skirting into vision range. There's one storm. It gets a lot. And And there's the snipe from MaNa. He's trying to do damage. And there's the feedback, one-shotting that medevac. And it looks like Naama, losing another medevac. Amazing High Templar usage, and again, these 2 players are within 2 food of each other. Mao's MaNa doesn't even have any more minerals, but look at the income from each player is almost nothing.
I can't believe how many tanks we are seeing. Recently we've hardly been seeing any tanks, and all of a sudden this is so tank heavy. And oh my god, he looks like he may be trying to set up containment outside this goal. If he comes down below the goal, it could be pretty bad. And here we go, he's going to set up position right here.
He is inches away on this left flank. The High Templar trying to sprint forward. There's a great storm. Gets a good amount of units. Another great storm. But it looks like he just wants to go for it. And there are so many tanks clustered here. And MaNa just says, no, I'm not going for it. And does a counterattack with Zealots.
And this is pretty bad. He has no minerals left on the map. He's going to have to mine long distance. He hasn't got enough to actually make another Nexus.
My God, I mean, this might even be the safest expansion on the map, but one Marine is still checking it out, and no, MaNa is actually going to be going for this left base, having taken down the destructible rocks. His income is still ahead of Terran's, despite not having a Nexus at this expo.
And he's not even, it doesn't look like he wants to build on. I mean, he should. He's spending a lot on units. He's saving up now for 400, but at the same time, there's a big attack from the Protoss on the right.
And it looks like he's just going for it. He knows this expansion is the only thing left in this game. Zealots starting up, a lot of good storms, and look at the Templar count. So many Templar, storming everything, trying to bust in there, doing so much damage, so many storms. Does he have any Psionic Storm left? He does. He continues to press forward. This has been an insane trade. And it looks like he has forced the Expo to lift.
But there are so many tanks at the back that he couldn't keep pushing, and now he has hardly any units left. The Nexus is being constructed, and he's coming in for another attack. These tanks are unsieged. Oh.
And it looks like this Colossus that has been alive almost all game long can continue to abuse the long range and pick off more SCVs. The expansion going down again for MaNa. This left base is up. If MaNa can win this game, that would put him back on the map, but he's still down 0-2, and the tank production of Naama is absurd.
And I don't even know if he's ever going to scout this expansion on the left-hand side. There's no way he can guess this is here, and that could be game-changing. It could be game-ending. And look at these, Observer in the main, and a couple of Zealots are coming down and scout down the bottom. If they see the command center missing, that could be huge.
Definitely. This one Nexus is very close to done. Almost only High Templars being made by MaNa, as he only really has assimilators left. The Forge is continuing to upgrade. He knows the value of long-term upgrades. But again, this expansion on the left is so key. I mean, MaNa is inches away from just sending units over there for free kills.
He's so close to doing it, and we are now 29 minutes into this game, and we look at the food count, 95 for Terran and 109 for Protoss. Somehow MaNa is still ahead in food.
And in the unit counting station, we see 8 Marauders and 8 Marines. Those are the core units for Naama. Without those, he cannot really hope to push. So Naama is going to move out with little small forces, but he's going to have to be relatively passive. And oh no, is he going to scout the left expansion?
He's going to go up there, and he will see it, and this is going to be huge. He is going up the ramp, and he is going to see it.
And there now is the Zealot getting a bunch of free kills with all these static tanks. It is going to be a little bit difficult to be able to defend. There is another High Templar trying to sprint up. It looks like the Marauders are ready for it, but he might just wait and then try to do a push on the left side. There's the lift. And it looks like trying to sprint through. The tanks aren't sieged.
He's going to siege up, and he does get them sieged up just in time. All these High Templar have so much energy, and they're going to be able to do a lot of storms. These SCVs really hate the Zealot. Kill the Zealot. No problem for all these SCVs. Another one wants a piece of him. Bring it on. The SCVs get us around. No, they just don't care about that Zealot, and it walks straight past.
Wow, what a tense game. Neither player has had almost any minerals the entire game. This Templar count is so high, morphing Archons, because they have such high health. I'm almost going to faint. This game is so tense.
It is so tense. And oh my God, there are so many. It's both players edge of their seats, I am sure. I am on the edge of my seat.
And it looks like, that's a big loss right now for Naama, having units just getting ripped apart. Oh no, every unit counts at this phase, and it looks like those 2 Zealots will end up escaping.
Oh, he's got to be careful not to go too far, though, to lose a lot of damage.
And it looks like in the meantime, MaNa is just trying to mass up. MaNa playing so carefully. That High Templar is still there, has gotten 4 kills with a Storm Drop. The Zealots are continuing to patrol. There are just so few options for Naama.
And here's a drop to get rid of these Zealots. Got to be careful, though, because of it. He has got the stamina. He does stamina. He will take these 2 Zealots down. Losing this Marauder as well. He's got to be really careful. Huge Storm doing more damage. Really great harassment with this one High Templar.
And it looks like we have so many speed Zealots. Look at the Zealot count. Oh my God, 28 Zealots on the map right now. MaNa is mined out of his assimilator. Each player only has 1 base at the resource counting station. We do see that a lot of the resources for MaNa are in probes, and he is massing up a giant Zealot Archon force, and it is all tanks and Marauders, and oh my God, this could be the final confrontation.
And there are so many Zealots. They're going to charge him, eat these Marauders alive, as well as the tanks. He's got to be careful here. Perfect scan, and here it comes.
This is the final battle. He's sending in all the Zealots. Huge Storm trying to pull back, but the Zealot count is so high. He's doing huge damage. MaNa's breaking it. Will he win this game? He has been contained all game long. Naama has no more defenses. He does it.
What a great game. Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
Wow, 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 wow. Woo!
Oh my. And honestly, if that's the way you have to win to beat Naama, MaNa's going to have a long road ahead of him to get to the 3-win mark.
There's a long couple of games coming up. What a fantastic game. Every little unit counted, every inch mattered in that game.
Oh my God,
what a game.
that actually happened, and it wasn't rigged. Those players are actually that good. MaNa, I have never seen such patience under pressure. Siege Tanks shooting at his natural expansion, stayed calm, finally breaks it after a 15-minute push at his front door, and then taking the gold, accidentally lets it fall, no panic, calmly retakes it, and slowly, inch by inch, was able to take that
Was
win.
a long mining from the gold to his natural for so long, lost his Nexus about 3 times altogether, but finally gets it back up. And oh, I can't believe he got through that. The real key at that battle at the end, there was just too many zealots. All the High Temple had so many storms they could use, and the entire of the force just was obliterated. And we are going to get ready to go into the next game, and I can't wait to see this.